There are many mobile suit frames besides the Gundam in Iron Blooded Orphans, and they are all really cool. So in today's video, we're going to go over each frame briefly, and in the future I might do a longer, more in-depth video for each frame, so let me know if you'd like to see that. Coming up first, we have the Gundam frame. The Gundam frames were developed by Gjallarhorn 300 years ago to counter the threat of the mobile armors. Each frame was named after a demon of the Ars Godia, and the mobile armors were huge and were named after angels. Their names were symbolic of a war between angels and demons. There was only 72 Gundam frames constructed because of how difficult they were to build. Gundam frames have 2 Ahab reactors. While 1 Ahab reactor is more than sufficient for powering this machine, the purpose of the second reactor was to give the suit a needed boost, to act on openings for an attack that presents itself while fighting mobile armors, ensuring it'll always have enough power to land important vital hits, as fighting these behemoths is extremely difficult and dangerous. An Alea Vignana is needed in order to fully utilize the 2 Ahab reactors. Because of how powerful the reactor output is on these machines, a limiter was added so the pilots wouldn't go full throttle and injure themselves. This limiter hasn't stopped all pilots though, as Mikazuki was able to bypass Barbatos' limiter and pilot him at dangerous levels of proficiency. This also had the side effect of Mikazuki losing vision and his ability to walk, as well as the loss of other bodily functions while not hooked up to Barbatos. Gundam frames are very versatile and can be used in any condition so long as its armaments allow it, like Barbatos having its armors and boosters switched out for space combat. 72 Gundam frames were constructed during the Calamity War. Because of how difficult they are to produce, and in current day are almost impossible to reproduce, as such they are extremely rare and difficult to maintain as the production had ceased 300 years ago. Up next we have the Valkyria frame. The Valkyria frames were developed in the late stages of the Calamity War, and were designed to be lightweight and agile, while keeping energy consumption to a minimum, as opposed to the heavy Gundam frames and their high energy output due to the 2 Ahab reactors. Only 9 Valkyria frames were produced. These frames were designed to be adaptable to its armaments, rather than the armaments being designed for the machine. It only has 1 Ahab reactor compared to its predecessor, the Gundam's 2 Ahab reactors, but because of how this suit was designed, it's still able to match the performance of the Gundam frames at a much more efficient energy consumption rate. However, because of how late these frames were developed into the Calamity War, they never went into mass production, as the far more popular Gundam frames were slowly bringing the Calamity War to an end. While only 9 were developed, we only know about 4 Valkyria frames. After the end of the war, Gjallarhorn would use aspects of these frames and the philosophy of more energy efficiency into a new age of mobile suits. Guy Rail frame. The Guy Rail frame is a smaller, mass-produced version of the Valkyria frame. While not intended for anti-mobile suit combat, it was a general-purpose mobile suit with only 1 Ahab reactor, and it was very proficient. Its frame was smaller and even lighter than the Valkyria. Entering a new era, the threat of mobile armors had ceased, and the need for overpowered mobile suits with high energy outputs had also stopped. And general-purpose, smaller mobile suits are the direction of mobile suit development is going post-Calamity War. This frame is the predecessor to the Graze frame, which was considered the perfected version of the Guy Rail frame. After the introduction of the Graze frame, this frame would be phased out and only a few would remain. Next up we have the Graze frame. The Graze frame is what 300 years of post-Calamity War mobile suit development looks like. This frame would become the flagship frame used by Gjallarhorn. It has a sphere-like mono-eye sensor for a head that is typically concealed by armor, but the armor can be retracted to reveal a sensor for a higher degree and field of vision. It was designed to be lighter and simpler than Gundam frames, using a more cost-efficient materials, simpler structural design, making maintenance on these frames easier. Because of the simplicity of these frames, they are easily equipable for many different armaments to suit its needs in any combat situation. All that with the bonus of a high degree of efficiency and piloting proficiency. It's no wonder that it became the main frame utilized by Gjallarhorn. Next up we have the Regenlaze frame. The Regenlaze was developed because of Tekkadan and its dangerous and threatening rise in power. The Regenlaze took the philosophy of the Graze and applied it to a mobile suit intended for anti-mobile suit combat. It was given better sensors and joints with a higher degree of mobility, as well as stronger torque in the joints, and the ability to carry heavy and stronger armaments. This new frame shares commonalities with the Valkyria frame's appearance. Next up we have the Rhodey frame. The Rhodey frames were mass-produced midway through the Calamity War and have been around for quite some time. They were the main frames used in the Outer Sphere for many decades, known for having big, thick armor and its round appearance with the mono-eye similar to the Zaku. The Rhodey frames are very versatile and can be equipped with heavy armor, often as heavy as its maximum weight capacity, giving the mobile suit better durability. It can also be equipped with all kinds of armaments and modifications. This frame's main use is in space because of its heavy armor, is able to move more freely, and is quite flexible and nimble. Despite its cumbersome appearance, thanks to boosters throughout this unit, and it's able to maneuver quite easily in space while not under the restrictions of gravity. Because of mass production, utility, and age, roadie frames have become easily accessible to civilians, space pirates, and mercenaries. Easily modifiable roadie parts and custom parts are widely circulated due to how long these units were in production. Next up we have the Teiwaz frames. For the longest time, Gjallarhorn had been the only mobile suit frame developer, until in recent years Teiwaz developed their own frames as a counter to the space pirates that were plundering their trade routes. The Teiwaz frames had high energy output, unlike the current Gjallarhorn mobile suits like the Graze. This is due to the fact that the Teiwaz frame's Ahab reactor was ancient, and in current times Gjallarhorn had a monopoly on Ahab reactor technology, so the Teiwaz engineers had to use blueprints of a prototype Calamity War mobile suit to develop these frames. These frames are equipped with lots of heavy armor plating and are primarily used in asteroid belts. These heavy armor protect against debris and are quite durable against enemy attacks. It can be removed when piloted under gravity. Its mobile suit operational potential is equal to or greater than the IBO 6 Graze. Next up we have the IO frame. The IO frame was developed thanks to the data and technology development made during the Teiwaz frame's production run, specifically the Hayakuri and the Hayakurin models. Tekton was given priority deployment of the IO frames at a discounted price. It was developed with the intention to mass produce and sell to other factions within Teiwaz. This frame is nearly identical to the Teiwaz frames in external appearance. Smaller changes were made, like adjusting the drive components for mass production, sensory upgrades, and the biggest difference is that this frame was created from scratch. The cockpit is the same one used in the Teiwaz frames, which is why, despite looking very different when armored up, the chest still looks the same. The IO frame uses the latest technological advancements and materials in its development, while also being easily maintainable. It has a high degree of versatility, being able to be equipped to fight in any combat situation. There's a giant sensor on its head that is protected by a thick visor. The IO frame is best utilized for fighting in groups. It struggles when it comes to one-on-one combat. The Teiwaz frames were still seen as its superior, but the IO frame is only at the beginning of its development. And finally, the last frame that we will be talking about in this video is the Hexa frame. The Hexa frame was the second most produced frame during the Calamity War behind the roadie frame. But unlike the roadie frame, the Hexa frame was designed to be lightweight with a high degree of maneuverability. Lacking heavy armor helps make this mobile suit quite nimble and fast. However, its durability is not the greatest. Many Hexa frames were shot down during the Calamity War. So in order to make up for its weaknesses, the Hexa frames are primarily used in groups and takes on a more mid to close range support role. Because of the position of the Ahab reactor, the chest, this mobile suit's cockpit can be located in the head or backpack. Because of this, Hexa frames pilots have a high survivability rate, because baylets are easier done from the head rather than the chest. Because of how many were mass produced, these frames have become easily accessible to civilians, colony maintenance, pirates, and mercenaries, where they are modified and augmented to fit desired needs, like reverse joints on the Hugo variant.